Hello everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. Sorry for the mix-up for those of you who came in 2 hours early. I was out of town for the weekend and I think my computer still thought it was on Eastern time. So I scheduled it for 6 p.m. and it was thinking 6 p.m. Eastern. It was not 6 p.m. Eastern. It was 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So welcome. I'm glad you made it here. Tonight I'm going to be playing with my stencil that just came out this last month in March. I'm going to do something a little bit different with it. I know a lot of you have been loving all of my big, huge stencils that you can use to create two card fronts at the same time, or two A2 pieces at the same time. So I wanted to show you something a little bit different that you could do with your stencils. And you could do this with any stencil set, anything that has a pattern that goes edge to edge and fills in all the color, like a background color and everything. I think you could do this with a lot of different stencils you might have in your stash. But today I'm going to be using let me make sure I get this name right, the Big Day Birthday Stencil Pack. So I hope you guys will love this. I think it's a really fun idea and you could adapt it to a bunch of different things. Hello over in the chat. Hey, Leanne. Hey, Diana. Diana, how'd your hair hold up? I was with Diana over the weekend and she has beautiful, long, curly hair, much curlier than my hair. And I could not keep my hands off it. So she let me be her guinea pig. We played hair salon, just like as if we were teenagers at a summer party. We played hair salon and I did her hair really curly. And then we were wondering how it would hold up because the only products we had were the ones that usually go in my hair, which is much looser. Still super curly. Yay. I'm so happy to hear that. Let's jump into the overhead camera here so that we can get going here. Like I said, this is the Big Day Birthday Stencil Pack. And I'm trying to think, what do I need to do here first? First, I need to get some 5x7 cardstock because we're going to do all of our stenciling on this one piece instead of the card front. Actually, I probably could do it on the card front. No, we won't do it on the card front. I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment. Sometimes that can warp the paper a little bit. So I think it might be worth it to do it on a loose piece of cardstock versus a folded note card. So let me grab my grip mat here because we're going to do some stenciling. We need to have this ready to go. In fact, I kind of feel like it's probably going to be up here in this corner. All right, I have 5 million ink colors picked out for tonight. You're going to die. How many other? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 colors of ink. I have the Leaning Tower of Concord and Ninth ink right here. Here are all the colors. And that is because I'm going to take a rectangle of the stencil design. I'm going to split it into 4. And then we're going to be stenciling different sections in different color palettes. I've tried to simplify it just down to 2 color palettes that still work together. I've never done this. We're going to see how it works out. Okay, I better make my Leaning Tower of ink pads a little bit shorter because I could just picture them falling over while I'm working. That would be terrible. Okay, so before we get to the actual stenciling part, I'm going to do some masking. So done a little bit of calculations. What I want to do is isolate this cupcake on the design. So I want to make sure that the cupcake is in the center of my design. And I also want to give the card a nice big border. So I'm actually going to give it like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch of a border, but I'm masking it off. And because this tape here is actually more like an inch, I'm just going to eyeball it. Let's hope we get this right. That looks about right. I can kind of see a little bit of a ghost of the edge of the card right there. Hopefully you guys can see it. That's about what we want. So I'm going to try to get about that much hanging off the edge off the top as well. And I'll come down this one side too. And then when it comes to how far from the bottom, I'm actually going to measure up about 2 inches because I'm going to put my grating down there. I want to have a nice big open area down at the bottom. So I'm going to grab my ruler here. Do I have the pencil handy? I do. I have a pencil. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of measure up about 2 inches. I'm going to just put a little mark on the, I might as well just use the edge of the ruler, right? And then that's where I'm going to put my masking tape. Is it Post-it tape, I should say. And I want to make sure I don't get any color past this down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little more down here. Okay, so now we have this rectangular open area that we're going to be using. The other thing I need to do is I need to mark the center of the card. So once again, I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to just go from the edge. We need this 2.5 right here. And I'm going to measure. I'm measuring just from the edge of the cardstock. And then 2.5 right there. I'm just going to keep that in mind. And I'm going to eyeball this area. I don't know. I didn't measure it. I'm just going to eyeball. That looks about center. I don't know. Whatever. All right, I'm going to take, what we're going to do is isolate this top section up here. I'm trying to figure if there's a better way to do this. No, I think this is the way we're going to have to do it. Okay, actually, maybe I'll do this right here first. Okay. And we're only isolating, actually, I don't want to waste that. We'll do the whole thing. Okay. Okay, so we're only going to work on this section right here for the first one. Okay. Let me get out my stencils. Hey, Gina and her puppies. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm actually not going to use this stencil for anything, but I'm going to use it to kind of envision where that cupcake's going to end up. And it looks like, and I kind of want it like this center line. It's so hard to see right now. I'm so sorry because it's all white on white. But I want it to intersect this center line on the cupcake and split the candle in half. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to stick this down to this side. And then to make sure all of my stencils line up, I'm going to take one of these center alignment guides from Altenew. And I'm just going to put it up here in this top corner. And I have a second one of them right here. I'm just going to put this one down here. And hopefully that'll be enough to get all of the stencils lined up just right. All right, I'm going to peel up this stencil now. We're not using this one. We're going to be using the other 6. But I wanted to be able to see where that cupcake was going to be for all of the positioning. So, in fact, let's start with the background. I guess I could have also done it with the background. I'm going to start with the background. I'm going to line it up in this bottom corner. Well, really this whole edge here. Okay. That's going to hold it in place. I'm really going to have to hold it down with my fingers on this side to make sure I've got a good grip on that. All right, I'm going to take my blue brush and Midnight ink. Got my ink pad, my ink stand ready to go over here. And just because I'm paranoid and using a big, huge brush, I think I better hold some paper or something over this other area. You know, I should have used a different color of Post-it so I could totally, hold on. There we go. That'll cover it. All right. So now I can just come in here and start stenciling. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush actually, because I really want to get in these little tiny crevices. I want to make sure it gets all of that, all of those little, I'm totally stenciling the Post-it tape. You guys, this white on white thing is gonna drive me crazy. That's okay, whatever. I'm like, why is it not looking right? Girl, you're stenciling the Post-it tape. That's okay. That's why the Post-it tape is there, right? At least it's not going to go down to the project. I'm like, wow, this is a really big area. You're stenciling the wrong area, girl. Okay, let's see here. Making sure going back and forth in different directions. Okay, that's all we need for that. And you'll see where I was stenciling the tape. I'm like, what? Okay. We all can't be brilliant every day, okay? All right, I'm going to spray this with some rubbing alcohol and just clean off that stencil. Clean it really well. All right, I'm going to go on to the next stencil. Let's do this one. So this is probably not going to really show much on this little quadrant that we're working on, but I want to get it positioned in there nicely. We don't have a whole lot to go off of for positioning, but I'm just going to try to get in there the best I can. Okay, and we're going to do sorbet for this one. Oh my word, there's a cat fur on my ink pad. Come on. I might have to use tweezers to pick that up. How, the cats don't even come in here. How did cat fur get on this ink pad? What in the world? Okay. Yes, better to stencil the Post-it tape than stencil where you forgot the Post-it tape. Good point. All right, the thing that's going to be kind of nice about this is each stencil is going to work up really, really quick because there's really not much showing. All right. In fact, I might not even need to really clean each stencil all that good until after I'm done. Okay, so we have that one. Grab the next stencil. Just making sure that the etching that has the title of the stencil is down here at the bottom so that it matches up. I do really like to do the background color first because I think it helps me line up the stencils better. All right, this one, what one is this one? This one's going to be in Juniper. I've done some planning ahead, so I'm trying to make sure I get the colors correct. Oh, I think that's totally on the Post-it tape. Whatever. Guess it was mostly just that little banner. All right, then we'll do this one. Oh, yeah, this one does. It is a little bit on the on this quadrant, just a tiny bit. Trying to get it lined up the best that I can, but it's a little difficult. Okay, this little tiny little bit of the star is going to be in Tide Pool. All right, that's completely under a Post-it tape, so I don't need to worry about it. This one, I think, is really only going to be the teeny tiniest bit of the candle flame in Buttercup. Yellow. All right. And then the last one right here, it'll just be the kind of the beginning of the top of the cupcake and a little bit of the present, it looks like. That one is going to be in Honeysuckle. All right, let's get a nice pink. And a little bit of the banner, it looks like. Just those 3 spots. So it works up really, really fast. Okay, so that's that first quadrant all finished. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna peel up this right here. I'm gonna save this Post-it tape because I can keep using it. Since this one's already on there, we'll just slide this over. And I want to get it as close to where those colors ended as possible. And it probably won't want to stick to what I've inked, but that's okay. It's overlapping just the teeny tiny bit. In fact, I might move it over even more. I don't want there to be a white gap, but I also don't want it to overlap too much. Should be taking note of where this pencil is down here. Hold on. Okay. All right, so now we're going to switch to the other color palette. I've decided I'm just going to have one color palette up here and one down here. And then the second color palette will be here and here, if that makes sense. Any news on the new OCC class? Last year, I announced that Celebrate on April. Wow, you really know the dates. Yes, we will be announcing a new class at the end of April. Ta-da! Okay, so now we're going to go back to our stenciling. In fact, we could even just go in reverse order. Can still make sure it's lined up where everything was before. And this one is going to be in Buttercup, actually. This is, there are a few crossover colors. And I think that circle up there is completely... You know, I should have done the background first. Let's stop and do the background. Okay, the background on this one is going to be in Sea Glass. So it'll be a lighter color. Yeah, we'll do this light blue. Okay. Wipe that down. There we go. You can sort of start to see the colors taking shape. Let's do this one. Breaking out Fig for this one. It really is kind of blowing my mind how little of each stencil is being used here. It's kind of crazy. Okay, this stencil also has a little bit of the flame right there. And I do kind of want the flame to remain yellow. So I'm just going to use Buttercup to finish off the little flame. That little section. There we go. All right. There's our purple. Our next one. Looks like it might only be that little banner up there. And that is not positioned correctly. There we go. And that color is Oceanside. So many ink colors. So many. Okay. I really wanted it to be colorful. It's a birthday card. It should be colorful, right? Yes, Lola, I love Fig as well. All right, 2 more to go. Here's the rest of the balloon. All right, and the balloon is going to be in Peacock. Looks like for this one, we've got just a little bit of the balloon and the rest of the star up here. Okay. All right, and then looks like maybe just the rest of the candle, the other half of the candle, which I'm not entirely sure what color this was supposed to be. I'm guessing blueberry. Nope. What was it supposed to be? I don't know what the rest of the color. I'm just going to have it be Peacock because I don't remember what color I was going to have it be. So a little tiny bit right there. Is there a little bit of there? I can't tell. Okay. All right. So now we're going to peel up the center line. Oh yeah, there we go. And then we're going to take the middle line and we'll just move this up so it covers those. And then I'm going to take the center line once again, get it lined up. press that down. And just because I want to make sure I don't accidentally do that section, I'll cover that up. All right, we're going to start with the background once again. We have some little cues up there to help us get it lined up. That looks about right. So now we're going back to the original color palette. So the background will be Midnight. It's a little bit of a, it's almost like a science experiment doing this. It's hard to keep track. I am looking at like I mocked it up before. So that's helping me make sure I use the right colors. I need to turn on a fan. Hold on. It's that time of year, y'all. Hopefully the fan is not too, like you don't hear it too much. It's a pretty quiet little fan, but if you can see my hair moving, yeah, it's just enough. All right. All right, we'll go back to, I'm not sure what this will be. Oh, we're going to start in the bottom of the cupcake. Awesome. Okay. So this one is going to be in Sorbet, I believe. You don't hear the fan? That's great. All right, so this is going to be in Sorbet. Is that the only Sorbet on here? I think it is. Wow. All that work lining up the stencil for that one little spot. All right, this looks like the bottom of the balloon. Just the bottom of the balloon. That's crazy. So we're going to have this be Juniper. Ooh, we're going to get the present this time. And also another color on the cupcake. We love that. All right, so this one is going to be Tide Pool, I believe. Okay, just getting this Tide Pool on here. Wipe that down. All right. The other stripe on the balloon and also the rest of the ribbon. That will be in Buttercup. Wipe that down. All right, and then I think mostly for this one, for the last one, we just have the top of the cupcake. Trying to get this in this bottom corner. Just trying to get those angles right. And this one will be Honeysuckle. Oh, my towel just fell on the floor. That's okay. I have another one I can use. Okay, so let's lift up these masking tapes. Ooh, I got some ink from underneath there, I think. Let's hope it doesn't show too much. That makes me think I should probably switch Post-it tape. All right. Got just a little ghosting of blue. I'm not sure what will be under it or what will go over top. We'll see. Ooh, does look like some white will be there. We'll figure it out in a bit here. What we need to do to fix it up if we need to. All right, so now we're back to the background being sea glass. I think I did I do pale blue for this one? I can't remember. We'll do this brush here. So this is the background. It's just going to fill in all of that color. Okay. And this is the last quadrant that I'm doing. So I'm going to take the time to clean the stencils this time. Really spray with alcohol. I'm also getting the hiccups. So that's fun. Whose mat am I using? This is Altenew. It's an Altenew grip mat. I have it linked down in the video description if you want to check that out there. Okay, this will be Buttercup. Just the bottom left on the cupcake frosting. I'll spray this down. Alrighty. Oh, I don't think this one has anything in this corner. We can skip it. This one looks like the star and a couple other little spots. This one is on the masking tape. We won't even have to worry about it, but we're using Oceanside. All right, spray this down. It's sort of looking like a hot mess right now, but hopefully once we peel off this masking paper from the last little bit, it'll make sense. All right, we've just got the balloon right here, which will be in Peacock. That Oceanside and Peacock look very similar right now. But I'm thinking the Oceanside will dry back quite a bit. And then we have the heart and the rest of the cupcake liner kind of thing. And that will be in, what is that other color? I guess, you know what? Let's just have it be in, let's do it in Sorbet. dun. Just to bring a little bit more sorbet in here. Okay. There was no sorbet used in this bottom corner. I think it was the other color palette that had sorbet, but whatever. I think it'll look nice. Oh, I should have done it in Fig. Bring in that purple. Oh well, hindsight. All right, we're ready for the big reveal here. Let's see how this looks. Oh, that looks so cool. Looks better than I thought it would. I love it. Okay. Just peeling up all of this masking tape. That looks really, really cool. I love it so much. All right, so here's what the actual design turned out to look like. I think it looks kind of cool. All right, this live is going to be really fast tonight because this is the only card I had planned, and all we're doing is putting a greeting on it. So if you wanted to have a really fast live to watch, this is the one. So maybe we'll stick around after and, I don't know, we could try it with a different stencil or something. It's not a bad idea. Okay, I have to go grab, what's the word I'm looking for? A 5x7 card base. I don't have any that are already scored and prepped. I need Sika to come visit so she can do all my cardstock again. All right, let me see if I can find a 5x7 card base over here somewhere. That looks like 5x7. I had a bunch of paper cut a while ago. Unless there's some down here. There is not. I mean, I have like black 5x7 card bases, but that would be weird. That's how much cardstock I had cut. I'm insane. But you know what? I did this back in, I think, oh gosh, it may have been 2019. And I didn't need to have another batch of cardstock cut until like the beginning of this year. So it lasted forever. All right. So I'll just take this and I'll score it. Yes, Sika needs to do a world tour organizing craft rooms. I think that's a grand idea. All right, so 5. And this scoreboard is not big enough to do the full length, so I have to turn it. There we go. Betsy, you were less productive than expected this weekend because I forced you to play Mahjong. That's what happened. All right, that's just going to go right there. In fact, I'm almost tempted to cut a little bit off the edges. I think I might. Just so it can be popped up off the surface of the card. I think I will. I'm just going to take a little bit off. Like a 1/4 inch off each side. I also can get the top to be just a little bit more even with the sides. Okay, and then this would be 6.5, right? Yeah. Okay, I like that. That evened it up a little bit better. Okay, so now this can be popped up just a tiny bit. In fact, I could pop it up on the black. Did I just make a white card base for nothing? If I wanted to, I could have it be like popped up on black. No, I don't like it on black. Okay, I'm going to do a stamped greeting on this. If I can find the dang stamp set. Uh-oh. My stamp set has walked away. Hold on. Pause. Oh dear. Well, I might have to find a different stamp set if I can't find this stamp set. It's not in its packaging, which is concerning because it has walked off. Hold on. I'm looking. Y'all, I definitely need Sika to come and organize my craft room because I can't find anything. Okay, well, the only thing I think of is it might be in this drawer under like stamp tools or something. It is not. Uh-oh. Well. Y'all, give me a minute, and if I don't find it right away, I'm gonna pivot and have to find and use a different sentiment. Okay, I'm thinking, where else could I have stashed it? Well, I need a birthday greeting because, you know, that's definitely a birthday card. You know, can't avoid that. I'm finding one. Hold on, y'all. Why can I not find a birthday greeting when I need it? That's why I had a birthday stamp that I was going to use. Okay, does that have it? No. Uh-huh. Well, okay. Did Sika just come in? Sika, you must have heard us talking about you. I'm looking for a stamp set that I'm sure if you were here, you're like the craft room whisperer. You would just be like, it is under this, and it would be there. What I don't get is where it could have walked off to, because didn't I just use it like last week? So confused. I don't know where it would have walked off to. Hold on. Probably just like place something on top of it. I'm looking for like everything under the sun. Or I like put it in the wrong spot. Like I put it in the wrong little pocket thing. Oh, Diana texted you. Diana's like, help. Okay, hold on. Give me. All right. Maybe I'm going to have to go into the depths of my stamp stash and break something out that I haven't used in many years. Hold on. All right, here we go. I'm going to use something really old, y'all. That looks like that. Oh, those were so tiny though. Hold on. I'm going to find one. I'm determined. Of course, I'm finding like everything like Valentine's Day, everything that I don't need. You know what? I'm not giving up. I still want that stamp set. I know it's here. I need to like come up with a story to tell you all, to entertain you while I figure out what's happening here. The only other thing I could think of is possibly repurposing a die cut that I already have made. Like, except it's black. I could cover it up with a different die cut. I don't know. Oh, well, this kind of matches. Birthday. Happy birthday. That kind of matches. I'm trying to find the Big Day birthday stamp set. And I used it like 2 weeks ago. I know it is in this craft room. This is my backup plan. That is what I'm going to use if I can't find this stamp set. But I really hope I do. The problem is the stamp set is not in its packaging. It's like floating loose. I just found it. Okay. As I'm complaining about it. Ta-da. Okay. What I want to use is this greeting right here. Because it's just going to keep it really, really simple and just be down there at the bottom. So I'm going to take my Misty. You know what's funny is it was hiding in the same stack of products where I saw its packaging. So you'd think that would be a clue to where it's at. I just wanted to, you know, experience or share with you all the experience of Stampgate 2026. Trying to find it. All right, I want to make sure I get this nice and straight on here the best I can. And centered, straight and centered. That looks about right. Going to use an anti-static powder tool. Lost it for a minute. A little flustered. There we go. And then because I am going to be doing gold heat embossing, I'm just going to use a gold pigment ink because then I can actually see what I'm stamping. And this is such a itty bitty greeting. I want to make sure I get it stamped well. All right, so I can stamp it a couple of times. Very gently pressing down on the stamp. Okay. That was very exciting. Stamping. I know, right? I should show you the pile of stuff it was under. That would be more exciting. Okay. Put that back on the stamp sheet. I'm going to remember to turn my fan off. There goes the fan. So that I don't have embossing powder freaking out and going everywhere. Not that I would know that. Happened more than once. Okay, I'm also going to try to avoid getting the powder onto the inking because that ink is definitely not fully dry from all the stenciling. But the powder is coating things lovely. I'm gonna wipe off this corner. That's where I was holding it with my fingers. Just wipe that off with a dry brush. And then I'm gonna let the heat tool heat up a little bit away from the paper and then I'll come back and do it. Oh, reading from the bottom, as Jennifer McGuire says, is better. Oh, it does look really nice. That's really beautiful, like embossing. Worked out beautiful. Okay, so there is basically the finished card design. I just need to put it onto the card front. So I think in the supplies, I said I was going to use Altenew foam, but since I'm going to do the whole thing, or maybe I didn't even say I was using Altenew foam, I'm going to use this 1-inch foam tape. I think Altenew might even have 1-inch foam tape too, although this isn't theirs. But just because I am popping up the whole panel, I just want to make sure it's nice and solid. All right, I'm almost done with this roll of foam tape. It was a really big roll of foam tape. I'm really surprised. I sort of thought it would last forever. Okay. As you can see, I am not shy with the foam tape. I think I saw, I think it was Allie asking about me possibly teaching at Crop and Crate. Maybe someday, I don't know. I have taught for that event in the past. I taught it for a different company though. I taught it for Mama Elephant, but it is a really fun event. Okay, look how fun. Love it. That turned out really well. I feel like you can't really see. Yeah, there we go. You can see how it's popped up. Things I like about this design that I think work really well. This is really busy. I knew doing the 4 different quadrants, like masking them off, would present a particular problem, which is where to put the grading. Because most of the time when I have used this stencil or stencils like it that have a lot of imagery going on, lots of colors, when I've used those in the past, I want to just put on a nice big grading, a die with a shadow layer on it, really make the grading pop and stand out. But it would cover up all of the fun, like the whole point of the technique, So I decided, let that shine, do a little tiny grading at the bottom. That's also why I decided to shift up the masking. Instead of having it masked, equally on all sides of the card, I wanted to give a nice big white area at the bottom so that I would have plenty of space to put the grading. So I hope that kind of explains my thought process of how I came to this card design. It was intentional. It was purposeful. I did it on purpose this way. It wasn't an accident. I hope that makes sense. I thought I would try to explain it a little bit. Anyway, I think I used all 11 ink colors on this card. Yeah, was there 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Yeah, no, there were 11. All right, so I'm going to do a quick spiel for those watching the edited replay. And then I'll stick around for a few since this was such a quick card. Anyhow, this is the finished card for tonight. I really love how it turned out. It's so super colorful. I think you could actually just pick a color palette of 6 colors, but then just change the background on each one and then mix up the colors you use for each of the the individual image elements. I think you could do it that way too. You could do it with the reduced color palette and it would still work. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. I will see you all in another video very soon. Okay, now we're hanging out. I'm gonna put some, what am I talking about? Some blending brushes away. Hold on. And we need purple and then orange. Perfect. Okay. All right. Andrea, I don't know how you can make it so striking accidentally. Well, sometimes, well, I don't mean like accidentally. I mean like sometimes when I'm creating or when others are creating, I'm sure others are the same way. You just start to do something and then you're like, oh, well, I'll just solve this problem now after it's already done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have done this ink blending on a piece of paper and had it be much larger. And then I'm like, oh no, where am I putting the grading? And I would maybe eventually at that point decide, oh, I'm going to cut the cardstock down so that there's space at the bottom. And then I'd put the grading on. But I'd planned it far in advance. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Am I wearing the dead shirt I stained? Did the stain come out? I am. The stain is still there. But it's like at the bottom of the shirt. And so I was like, I'm only going to be able to wear that shirt if I'm live where it looks like I have no lower part of my body. Like, I don't know that I would. It's an at-home shirt and also live on YouTube shirt because out in public, I look ridiculous. It has a big, huge grease stain, like right below the big, like, design of the shirt. And you know what? That trick to get the grease stain out did not work. It was a fail. It looked like it worked. And then when I like brushed off the baking soda or whatever, no, the grease stain was still there. Didn't work. I guess I could have kept trying, but no, it didn't work. I was really sad. I wanted it to work. It could be fun to do a stencil with a uniform type background in this style with 4 different colors and make the sentiment take center stage. That is not a bad idea. I like that. And like maybe there's a spot in the center that is not stenciled, and then there's a stamp set that you can stamp the gradient. I like this idea. Pam, I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down right now. To split stencil design with preserved grading area. I think that could be really interesting. It's a good idea. Soak it in boiling water. That's what nephew Nathan, aka Jamie, says. Do you mean like soak the shirt in water? Is that what you mean? Try Dawn Grease Remover. Will it work if you've like washed and dried the shirt many times after the stain has been there? I'm going to tell you what it is and maybe it will help inform your tips. I was on a plane. It was some sort of like oily, tomatoey pasta dish. And I didn't even notice that it had spilled on me until I got up from the plane, got up from my seat to get off the plane. And mind you, this had been a 10-hour flight. So I think that meal probably would have happened 5 hours previous. So it had sat there, the grease had sat there on the shirt for 5 hours. I came home, I then washed it, took it out of the washer, looked great, put it in the dryer, and that's where I see that the grease stain is still there. So, will it still take it out? Mia's saying, Dawn, soak the stain in Dawn for a couple of days. I swear it will come out. Okay, I'll try it. I will try it. I'll try it. Let it sit for a couple of days and then wash and have 100%. Okay, so is this with a shirt that has been dried, like in the dryer with heat? If it is, then that would be amazing. Dawn straight onto stain, rinse, then baby powder. Works every time. No way. I wish you could see this stain. I mean, it's not obvious. Hold on, let me see if I can. It's like, hold on. I gotta change to my other camera. Okay, let me see. It's like that. Do you see that? That's the stain. It's big. You guys, I walked out of the airport like that, but it was worse because it was fresh and it looked like a small child on my lap had peed on me. It was, I believe what I did was, even though the airport was very hot, I put on a jacket and I covered it up. I believe that's what I did. Okay. Oh, Delia's here. Delia, this is what I told you. I told you that Dazzle Dry nail polish combo to get like a pale purple, and this is what it is. This is Dazzle Dry Faith with 2 coats of Dazzle Dry Breathe Free on top, and it just cut it down so it's like a much more pale purple. It might not even be as pale as you were hoping for, but that is the color. I mean, I'm very pale, so any color looks darker on me, but see, I'm with Beth. Beth is saying I probably won't be able to get it out now that I've washed and dried it, and I've washed and dried it many times. This became an at-home only shirt. But I'm really sad because it's my, like, I got 2 shirts when I went to Dead & Company at the Sphere in Vegas. I got this one, and then I got a long sleeve shirt that has like a skeleton on it, and it looks a little bit frightening. But down the sleeves, it has roses and stuff, and it's really kind of cool looking. But this is the one. This is the one I wanted to keep. I am this close to going onto eBay and looking for someone selling this shirt in my size just to replace it. You know? Adrienne says, wet OxiClean and then use dry OxiClean. It has worked for me even when months later. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to try the Dawn dish soap or power wash even. Soak it for even a few days in the Dawn and then wash it and see what happens. And then I'm going to try the OxiClean if that doesn't work. Okay. Tide stain stick. Maybe. I don't know. Yep. Try Dawn. Let it sit for a couple days. I'm going to do that. Okay. When is the next Concord and Ninth release? This is great. Concord and Ninth, they do monthly releases on the 9th of every month. So, you know, easy. Concord and Ninth, 9th of the month. It works. So the next release will be April 9th. That is the last resort. If I can't get it out with these tips, dry cleaners. I'm going to do it. See, this is hard though. I feel like at this point I have washed and dried it so many times. I don't know that it would, like stopping putting the dryer would work. And also I can't tell when it's wet. I guess I could just air dry it, like line dry it. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Right. Big, huge grease stain. I don't know how I did not notice it until hours later. I mean, to be fair, this was the flight when I was coming home from Europe, and we were coming home early because of a very sudden, unexpected death in the family. And so we were like, I mean, it was a day. But anyway, yeah, really big grease. Oh, I'm glad my dilemma is helping others. Kathy is happy that her bacon greased shirt might benefit from all these tips. I hope so. Right? Laura says, nice shirt. Bummer about the stain. I'd wear it anyway. I wear it anyway, but the stain is so big, I can't justify wearing it out in public. You know what I'm saying? Maybe to a water park where splash me with water and then it looks like it's like normal. That would be sad. Okay, hold on. I'm getting down here. Oh, thank you, Delia. I really do like this color. I do like the original color Faith, but it is, I mean, I like it, but I like this like more pale lavender even more. I like it. Yes, Sika, Breathe Free is very sheer. I did 2 coats. Oh my word. My husband is texting me saying, nice stain you've got there. Babe, you were there. You saw the stain. It was bad. It was so bad. Melissa says she's notorious for spilling things on herself while eating. It's a girl problem. I'm generally pretty good. I'm very careful when I'm eating, so I don't get food on my shirt all that often. That being said, I did last week, and then there's this huge dilemma, you know, whatever. Okay. Oh, thank you, Michelle. You're absolutely certain it's going to work. Well, I'm going to try. I will report back. I just thought of this. I was like, I wonder if I could just cut off the bottom. I thought that right before I went live. I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I don't like this, I can just cut off the bottom. But you know, I don't really wear crop tops. I'm tall. It's weird. Oh my word. Sika is texting me. Is this the shirt, Sika? Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, I have to go check. That is the shirt, but that looks like they've taken the artwork and like it's not official. But yes, that is the shirt. And you can get it in different colors, which is kind of cool. Huh. Wait, under the description. Oh no, it really doesn't say. Yeah, it really doesn't say exactly what it is. But think, Sika, last resort, I might do that. Okay. Let's see. A lot of people saying try the Dawn. Not power wash, use Dawn dish soap? Isn't the power wash the same stuff? It's just in a spray bottle? No? I don't know that I have regular Dawn dish soap. I only have the power wash stuff. Huh. Lola, sorry, I felt I derailed your live with the same question. You know, this is like crowdsourcing laundry issues, and why not? We're all here. Let's see. Oh, I was walking through the airport 6 months into breastfeeding my son. Now that's embarrassing. Okay, well, yeah. Christine's asking about the next OCC class. We're having one this spring. Wait. Now Sika's sending me another. It's from the Dead & Co store. It is the shirt, although it looks different. It's got a little bit of a different wash to it. But that is the shirt. Oh my bird. Except it says 2024 on it. And I believe I went in 2025. But it's close. When is the next OCC class? We're having one this spring. We will be announcing the class at the end of April. Let's see. How did Concord and Ninth come up with their name? If I'm remembering the story correctly, the 2 owners of the company at the time, one of them has since left, but the 2 owners at the time, they each came up with like half of the name, and they just came up with Concord and Ninth. I think that was the story. Let's see. Oh, Beth says her 50th birthday is April 8th. Happy early birthday. So she will have to buy a present or 2 from the next release. Well, I would be honored. I do happen to know that there's a really awesome stencil. I mean, happen to know. Hello, I designed it. I know. There's a really awesome stencil, one of the large stencil formats, and there's some different like frame things. That's all I'll say. Okay, so now so you can send me another one. She's like, 2025, LOL. I'm like a dog with a bone, but I quit now because it's not the same wash. Okay, hold on. She's sending me another link. Okay, she found the 2025. It is official. And they don't have my size either. I bet I could find someone who got the official one at one of the concerts. I probably could find it on eBay. And it will probably cost me 3 times as much, but that's okay. I'm going to try all the stain removing tips and then we'll see where we're at. Let's see here. Melissa saying, any chance there will be any new ink colors included in the C9 summer camp kits? Have they done that in the past? Well, I believe the last few summer camps or events, what they have done is they'll choose a color palette for the event. And then when you, I want to say maybe, I don't know, maybe when you signed up for camp or maybe, I can't remember. I think there's an option to get full ink pads with your kit and you pay extra. You could get ink cubes, or if you already have all the inks, you get no inks and you save a little bit of money. I think that's probably when you registered though. I don't remember. But being that there's new colors this year, I would imagine that they're going to have new colors included in the palette. Personally, I have not checked. I will be one of the camp counselors again this year. I should have already done my projects by now, but I have not. Shh, don't tell. So I really should know if they're a new color. I would assume. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. Let's see here. I'm trying to find if there are any other little questions. Airworks is asking, did I show the stain? I did. Let's see. La, la, la. Lots of just modify the shirt. Yeah, I thought about it. Let's see here. When is the next mail day? So mail call. I have not scheduled it yet. At least I don't think I have. Hold on. Let me check. I did schedule out my videos or my lives for my live members or my premium members, but I don't think I scheduled mail call. I'm thinking mail call will probably be, looking at a calendar here. Oh gosh. Mail call might be next Monday. It might be Monday instead of my regular live. Yeah, I think we're going to do that because then, yeah. Mail call will be next Monday. It'll be next Monday. We'll do it at regular time. We'll just do mail call. I like that idea. Okay. Let's see here. Scrappy Cat's wondering if it was one of the streets they lived on for the Concord and Ninth name. No, I don't think so. Not that I remember. There's an old podcast at Online Card Classes. We used to do like a little video podcast years and years ago. And on one of them, we interviewed Greg and Angie. Angie used to be with Concord and Ninth. She's since moved on to other things. But we interviewed them and they talked about coming up with the name. And I think it was just random. I can't remember. I don't think it was one they lived on. I could be wrong. Let's see here. Oh, this isn't a bad idea. Maybe you can make it into a tote if the stain doesn't come out. Not a bad idea. I happen to know I have a really good friend who does amazing work with like bags and zippy bags and stuff. Like I could send it to her and be like, please salvage what you can. Turn this into something. Nope. Unfortunately, Concord and Ninth is not two crossing streets where the building was. They have never been on a street, Concord or Ninth. At least I don't think so. Okay, I'm checking. Yes, the ink pad or cube option is a sign up. Okay, all right. So if you signed up for camp and you said you want the ink pad or the ink cubes, you might get a duplicate. I don't know. Do, do, do. I checked the camp colors on the website, not the new ones. Christina doesn't know. I don't know. I have no clue. Well, as far as for the projects go, they give us like options on what colors that we can use. So I don't know if they're in there or not. Oh, perfect. If you go to the camp page and scroll down, it shows the colors that will be part of it. There we go. Perfect. For mail call, do we need to include an envelope or not? No, you do not have to include an envelope. Let's see here. Sorry for the yawn here. Is there a size requirement for mail call cards? No. Generally, people send either A2 or A7 cards. Some have sent like oddly sized cards. It can be whatever you want. Okay. Why did I choose to partner with C9 versus Simon? It purely, when it came down to it, it was proximity. Having worked for Simon Says Stamp, who was in Ohio, and I'm in Utah for many, many years, I knew the difficulty of designing for a company where their main headquarters was many, 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 many hours on a plane away. And I knew when I was going to be doing my own line, I wanted to have a little bit more hands-on control over the line itself. I would be testing samples, be doing just needing a whole lot more hands-on with it. And so the proximity of Concord and Ninth, their office is not far from my home. I'm able to drive there if I need to go over and check something. They can run samples to my house very easily. Proximity was the determining factor between going with Concord and Ninth versus going with Simon Says Stamp, even though I did have a great experience with them. And I designed for them for 11 years. So maybe 12 even. So I designed for them for a long time, but moving to Concord and Ninth for an endeavor as ambitious as having my own collection and my own line, it made more sense to go with someone who was closer in geographically. Yeah. I could make a pillow from the shirt. That's a good idea too. Really? Streets of the company founders' homes. Maybe when they were kids or something. That would make sense. I do not think that those were their homes when they became a business. I could tell you wrong. I don't remember. I don't remember the story. Okay, let's see here. Just checking. Interesting. Greg lived on Concord and Angie, I don't think that's her last name. Angie lived off Ninth. Okay, sure. It's on their website. Just checked. Good to know. I'm like, I swear it was, they were just like, let's just put these two together. Cool, cool. All right. Yes, considering logistics. Yep. Betsy, I just realized that your logo on your profile, like avatar, is a B, and then the circle around it is a G. Brilliant. I just realized that. I always thought, oh, it's a B and it's got like a circle around it. No, it's a G. Brilliant. See, this sounds like an idea of a shirt to wear to another Dead & Company concert. Right? Cool, cool. All right. Well, I think I've actually caught up with the chat. So, all right, we've chatted for about 20 minutes. I'm going to close up for the night. Thank you all for joining me and giving me all those tips. I'm going to try the Dawn dish soap, soaking it for a few days. And if that doesn't work, Then I'm going to go through the chat and figure out some other suggestions that you all gave me. What was the other one? I can't remember. I'll go through the chat. I'll figure it out. Oh, yep. Betsy's confirming that's what it is. There we go. All right. Everyone have a lovely week. I still owe you guys that edited video that I had hoped to get up last week. The video's edited. I have to do the voiceover. I will get to it. The photos are ready to go. It won't take me long. I will get it done this week, and I hope to share it with you all very soon. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.